Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast.
Hello.
We look a little bit different. We'll tell you about it here in a minute.
Well, welcome. It is, even though it is April 1st, we are not fooling you. We are actually, well, first of all, my name is Daniel Garcia. I am a co-host of the Modernize or Die podcast, joined by
Eric Peterson.
So just really quick, welcome everyone to the updated Modernize or Die podcast. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, one of Ortus's mantras is modernize or die. And so one thing that we like to do is take our own advice. So as we, from time to time, review our setups, our systems, our processes. So anyway, we're modernizing how we do things. And part of that is revamping the whole Modernize or Die podcast, changing up the format a little bit, changing up how we, the tools we use to deliver it. And so if there's a few bumps in the road, especially this first episode or two, we apologize. We are using a new system called Riverside.fm, and so far it's really awesome, but, we're still learning it.
So with all that out of the way, let's jump into some Ortus news to start. Into the Box is less than a month away. It's right there on the cusp.
About 4 weeks and a couple days.
So, because we're in April now, and it is right here in May. Tickets are still available. In fact, you can get some discounts, buy one, get one half off, or for the teams out there, buy two, get one free.
Also, the session schedule is very close to being finalized. I saw a message on it. I think there's only a couple more spots they're trying to figure out. And after that, I would not be surprised that they release it sooner than later.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. 2 slots that are left to be filled.
I saw you put your name up for them. Did they give them to you, or?
They said they would if I wanted, but
do it.
Yeah, I have a few I could talk about. I always want to talk about inertia. I always want to talk about tailwind. I know that will make John Clausen and Esme very happy for me to talk about tailwind.
Yep.
So.
And unfortunately, last year you weren't able to make it to Into the Box, so you kind
Not
of be
in person,
like
so.
make it up for lost time.
That's
More
right.
Eric all the time. So another big news, we are going to have an online version again this year. Into the Box virtual tickets will be available. The early bird online ticket tomorrow until April 16th. After that, they'll go to the regular price. So the link that we just posted is out now, but the ticket sales start tomorrow at midnight. And
so does that mean it's not on sale if you bought it right now?
I was just going to ask that because Maho, one of our wonderful marketing people, updated the notes on here. And I don't know if she meant to say...
You can get it for an early bird price right now. So
she must have meant midnight this morning.
Yeah. So that's $199 for the virtual conference ticket. If you wait till after April 15th, it's going to be $240. So that gets you access to watch not only the keynotes, which we stream for free, but also all the sessions. You'll still have to choose which one, of course. And then access later on CFcasts when it comes out.
All the sessions, not the workshops. Workshops are something different. You got to be there for the workshops. But yeah, I'm excited, man. This is our second year in DC. It's a great venue. I'm also excited that our hotel is a little closer this year than last year. I didn't have to walk uphill both ways to get to the session. Okay, last year, I got to walk downhill towards it. But walking uphill at the end of the day with all your laptops and bags, it was, yeah. So we good. I think we're a block away now. Okay, so coming up, I think we've got some product updates. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. So we have 2 big ones I'd like to mention. We had TestBox 6.3 released just yesterday, I believe. And the headline feature of this release is there is a new BoxLang reporter. This skips the web request cycle entirely and is just running in pure BoxLang via the CLI. And I pinged Luis for some numbers, and he says it's twice as fast. So...
Really?
Yeah, I would love to use that. And it's paving the way to use in VS Code, like in the Test Explorer that you can get in other languages because it's built right in. We can put it as part of the language server protocol, and you don't have to have a web server running to run that test box runner.
Nice. Do you have to have command box?
Not for this, no. It's pure
Really?
BoxLang.
Wow,
Yep.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
The other release, also very much BoxLang related, but a little bit of Adobe CoolFusion on the side. Content Box 6.1 has been released. The headline feature is that it is now ready for BoxLang and Adobe 2025. Lucy 6 folks, hold on. We're dealing with, in quite a few products, some regressions in Lucy 6. So we're working through those, though. So yeah, if you've been waiting to upgrade some of your Content Box sites and try it on BoxLang, here's your chance with Content Box 6.1. On the article that Daniel's put in the show notes, it gives you an upgrade guide to show you how to do that. Pretty straightforward. So run it and let us know how that runs on BoxLang, which as an aside, again, talking to Luis, BoxLang is in such a good spot right now. We're getting ready to cut the third release candidate. Remember, we're releasing this in a month. I believe it's, hold on, I gotta get the actual numbers before I
say spoilers. You're
vamp
spoiling
for me, Daniel.
Man. Well, you're kind of giving away the spoilers. I was going to tease that RC is coming soon because it hasn't dropped yet, but I would not be surprised if it drops any moment, hour, day now.
Yeah.
And although it's not official, we are targeting ITB for BoxLang.
Yes.
Do not be surprised.
So Luis has said it's one of our most solid releases to date and extremely fast. All of his test suites, as kind of mentioned earlier, are running on BoxLang twice as fast as Adobe 2021, 23, and 25. On the Lucy front, I believe it's a tad behind, but not like orders of magnitude.
It'll get there.
Lucy has done some good work. We have some good work pushing us.
Yep, and remember, it's still RC release. It's a release candidate. It's not the final release, so we've got time to speed it up even more. And then there's one product I know that's very near and dear to you, Eric, because I think it was your idea to begin with, your brainchild. There's a CFCast refresh. It'll be a more powerful and user-friendly CFCast is coming to help you modernize and evolve. Some of the updates, you want to tell us about that?
I sure can. So a lot of it's visual refresh. If you've been wondering why we've never supported dark mode, that's on me. I don't use dark mode.
Never wondered that.
I'm a weird guy like that. So dark and light mode support. Team plans are coming that you can add and remove seats as needed, so your team can manage that. Better organizing the content by speakers, so you can find that, and some better search options as well. Additionally, I think I saw it down near the bottom. I'm trying to find it. There it is. It's in the BoxLang section, but I'm stealing it. We are also doing some work to launch alongside CFCast's BoxLang Academy. It will look very similar.
But will it have dark mode?
It will have dark mode.
Okay.
Now, we're basing it off of the CFCast's website as well, but giving you all of the BoxLang content that we're churning out. We get at our conferences that we'll start making series and topics on how to get started and get awesome with BoxLang.
Nice. And that will be a separate site and product from CFCast. Is that correct? Or is that still
it will be
determined? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
I haven't actually heard a lot about it, other than I'm excited for it.
Ortus, when they first brought the idea, wanted to combine them and call it like Ortus Academy or something like that. But I begged them to keep the CFCast name because I think it's so cool. I love the fact that there's a CFC in the name of the domain. So they agreed, and that's why we're going to have two.
That's okay. Well, they're different purposes too. So they're a little bit. Great. So as always, I know we don't always talk about this, but this podcast, the Modernize or Die podcast, is sponsored by Ortus Solutions. Well, of course it is, because Eric and I work for Ortus Solutions. But we have a couple of services that we wanted to call out. Elasticsearch. We want to enhance your search and analytics capabilities with our expert Elasticsearch solutions. We provide custom implementations, performance tuning, seamless integrations to help you scale and optimize your data and search efficiently with AWS OpenSearch. And we'll put the link there. And then you want to talk about staff augmentation, Eric?
If you have a project you're working on and you need some extra people, you're not ready to hire a full employee, or maybe you just want to get the experts on all things box, you can contact Ortus Solutions. We can help augment your team and help you get that project over the finish line.
Yep. Whether you need just a little bit of help or you want us to, do it all for you, we can do it. We have done it, and we'll keep doing it.
All right. Should we talk about some BoxLang news?
I thought you would never ask. So BoxLang. So obviously ITB is coming up. There's going to be a lot of BoxLang content there, but we got 25% off on BoxLang licenses until into the box.
And why would you want a BoxLang license? You want support. You want priority help to getting some of your bugs fixed. You want access to some of the awesome premium modules like Redis support and our AI module. All the modules come as part of a BoxLang license, so lots of value built in to that BoxLang license.
Yep. And if you look at the pricing, I find that's actually very, very reasonable in terms of cost and restrictions, or no restrictions, as you might say.
Yeah, you could use BoxLang for free. Free, always open source.
Oh, 100%.
So
we are open source.
If you're looking for some more modules or for some professional support, we got you.
Yep. And then I know you were just teasing RC3, but a few weeks ago, we launched BoxLang RC2. It seems like every month we're, getting towards that goal line.
Yes, and please install these and test. We're not doing any new features right now. We're just trying to get this as solid as possible, and the more applications that can be tested on it, the more we find the fun edge cases out there in software.
Absolutely. And like I said, RC3, don't be surprised if there's a blog announcement any day now. And that's probably going to be the last big release candidate, I would guess, Eric, before the final.
I would guess that. You never know, but I would guess
don't want to speak out of school, but okay. Kind of exciting news too, BoxLang virtual machines are now available in Azure. So if you're looking to spin up a BoxLang VM and you like to use Azure, we got you covered.
Speaking of premium modules, the BoxLang Generative AI module is out. This is a wrapper around using many different AI services in a fluent functional API. I will throw the blog post introducing it into the chat. You can also have multiple providers and switch between them as needed. Everybody's kind of building towards AI. There's probably something in your product that AI could help with. So this is a great way to easily integrate with that. And again, if you got a BoxLang license, this is included.
Yep. And I was actually there. It was kind of cool. I was there at DevNexus when Luis was like, I'm going to add this to BoxLang. And then he did. And then it was released. And it was cool. And that's what kind of happens sometimes. You get an idea from somebody, or somebody asks for a feature, and we're like, you know what? We agree. We want AI in BoxLang. And boom, we have it.
We got a blog post from Raymond Camden, who's been writing a lot about BoxLang for us. He talks about building a web app with BoxLang. And I'll be honest, when I came into this article, I thought I was going to see ColdBox, but this is even more bare bones, not in a bad way. This is showing BoxLang just what is built into the application server and how you can make a web app with that. So he shows a little blog. No framework, the only thing he installs is the MySQL module so he can connect to the database. It's really cool just to see a very simple and introductory web app with BoxLang.
Yep. And of course, Ray Camden's working with us, Ortus Solutions, and evangelizing BoxLang. He's been doing a lot of blogging. He's been talking about it, been doing a lot of testing, trying things out. And, we all know Ray. Well, I don't know about but Ray's a long-time CodeFusion community member and is a very prolific blogger. And I don't think he's really slowed down over the years. I think he's still going at it, and we're very fortunate to have him here.
Okay. We've talked about Into the Box a few times now. No, there is tons of content there. Rather than read it all, we tell you to head to the website. There's a workshop with Luis and Brad and at least 8 sessions on BoxLang. So check out Into the Box. You want to be there. We want to see you there.
Yep. And if you know nothing about BoxLang, that's okay. You come out there and you'll leave knowing a whole lot about BoxLang, and hopefully you've been writing your own apps.
CF Camp's also going to have some BoxLang goodness. We have Zero to Hero with ColdBox and BoxLang multi-runtime with Luis, and getting started with the BoxLang runtimes with Brad Wood. So one of the tenets of BoxLang is we wanted it to be able to run in multiple different runtimes, not just the web runtime. One thing that's hindered some of the tooling that we've wanted to build in the past was the fact that you always had to have a web server running. Even CommandBox technically is a long-running web request, like one single one that Brad just keeps listening to. It's kind of funny. So BoxLang was built so it could be ran on the CLI, web server. It can be run serverless in Lambdas, all sorts of places. So come learn what that means and how that can help your business needs out in Brad's session, or go from zero to hero with ColdBox and BoxLang with Luis, the maker of both.
And it's also very exciting. There's going to be about, I think, 5 sessions at CF Camp that touch on BoxLang in some manner. And so that is very exciting to see. So BoxLang is here, people. Well, it's been here, but it's really going to be here, and it's out there, and we're innovating, we're developing it, and a lot of love going into it, and hopefully you will also like it as well. But check out the cfcamp.org website for all the latest sessions, information, speakers, and all that.
And we'll also include a link to our CF Camp workshops, those 2 that were mentioned as well. Those will be happening before the conference. That's enough of some BoxLang news. Let's talk about some CFML news and updates.
Yep.
We have some slides you might want to check out from the one and only Pete Freitag. The CWE, which is common, is it weakness? Web exploits? That sounds right.
We should go to
because it's not CVE, which is vulnerability. But this is a presentation he gave. He put the slides up of 25 web exploits you might want to look for in your app.
Well, a lot of them are like, when you're doing your coding, do this, do that. So like the number one is cross-site scripting. He gives you ideas of, what that is and how you can mitigate against it. Number 2 out of bound rates, and number 3, SQL injection, that old chestnut that's been around for like 20 years. And most CF developers protect ourselves against it because we use CF queryam and bindings.
He also goes into ones you might not have thought of, like hard-coded credentials in your code instead of using environment variables or secrets. Uncontrolled resource consumption. I remember running into this at the beginning of my coding career, where you don't put the limit on a query that someone can run, and all of a sudden they're grabbing 30 million records from a database. So just things like that. Great presentation, and happy to share that here.
Yeah, I always, whenever I go to any sort of conference, if Pete's presenting, I'm going to go there. It scares you a little bit, but it's also reassuring that, hey, we got this. And that was at Confusion Summit East, which was, I believe, a week or two ago. But yeah, another big CFML update news, Masa CMS version 7.5 is released. Excited to get that email yesterday, I think. New in 7.5, multi-tenant support for Microsoft Entra single sign-on, factory script upgrades, improved compatibility with 2021 and ACF 2021, 2023, a lot of bug fixes. They're deprecating some of the old session support, non-decrypted passwords, and others. And looking ahead, they're looking to support Adobe Confusion 2025. And can you guess it?
Wait, where's our sound effect? I wasn't ready.
Come on.
No. Nope, this one, live. Is it BoxLang?
It's BoxLang. I was waiting for a cymbal crash at the end of that.
Yeah,
I guess not.
That joke will land better next time when I'm ready for it. Sorry, everybody.
Again, it's a new format. We're just feeling it out.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations to Masa on the release.
Absolutely. Good job, guys, and keep doing what you're doing. And if you're don't know who Masa is, they are an open source fork of what Mira used to be. Mira was a great product, great content management system. They had to make some changes. Masa forked it, and they're moving forward. So if you can't use Content Box for any reason, I don't know why you couldn't, but if you can't use it, check out Masa. Or just check them out anyway, because you know what? Variety is the spice of life.
Or I believe one of the Into the Box sessions this year is migrating from Mira and Masa to Content Box. So come Into the Box, go to that session by John Clausen, and come jump on the Modernize train.
Woohoo! We need a train whistle every time you say the Modernize train. I don't think we got one.
We got to do that for next time.
Yep, I didn't get the horn either. Anyway, next time, things will improve.
Speaking of new releases, Blog 4 is out by Gregory Alexander. This is the blog engine he's been working out. He details all of the new features and improvements over on his website. Congrats on the release, Gregory.
Yep, and I think one of the big features is it's fast, like really, really fast.
Yeah, it's built on Lucy, which again, they are doing great in that department. We need to keep chasing them.
And then let's see, we have a couple other blog posts we want to touch on. One thing, the format changed. We used to just like talk on and on and on about all these great blog posts, but in the interest of time, we're not going to do that like we used to. But we're going to try and pick out a few highlights here and there.
Our goal is to keep this to 30 minutes is the goal. So we're doing okay right now. Let's see how we do.
Oh, man.
So James Moberg has a very interesting post, a great title, CF Frankenstein choosing to use executables instead of CFML BIFs. And I read it and I was like, I had never thought about this. So using the 7-zip executable instead of the CF zip because it's faster, using curl over CF HTTP, image magic, things like that. Like he's got a whole bunch. WK-HTML to PDF. Yeah, it is a very interesting idea. I'd love to see all these like packaged up in ForgeBox because the idea of trying to manage all those on the system sounds, whew. But
well, even he has one for AWS S3 Express. I think he went from 110 seconds for the built-in services using the Amazon CLI or CLI. Took 40 seconds, but with S3 Express, I think he said it took like 16 seconds. So
you can check all the different performances that he has there and why he chose the ones he has. But yeah, really neat idea. I don't really think of CF Execute much, so thanks for pulling attention to that.
Absolutely. Of course, that means what, Windows only? That's okay.
No, you can do most of these have Linux equivalents, which is what you're running on if you're not running on Windows, right? So
that's true.
They just don't have .exe at the end.
Fair enough. I'm a Windows guy. So I don't always think about
some
of those others.
We won't hold it against you.
No, you got plenty to hold against me, Eric. Like the fact I'm messing up this podcast.
No, not messing up. Not at all. All right. Last blog post we want to talk about is from Ben Nadal. He is exploring variadic function mechanics in Cold Fusion. Variadic meaning varying in size. So this is where you can call a function and pass 0, 1, 8, a million arguments, and it's going to do stuff about it. And he goes through the different options, right? We have the argument scope that you've been able to use. How can you interact with that? Lucy and BoxLang have talked about using the rest and spread operators. I don't think that one's in BoxLang yet, maybe. It looks like he had trouble with it in any case, so we have something to fix there. But yeah, I look very forward to the day we have rest and spread, especially spread. I feel like I use that all the time in JavaScript, and I'd use it all the time here in...
For the people that aren't as cool as you and Ben, can you explain what rest and spread is?
Sure. Let me see if I can find an example in his code and then see if I can make it appear here in Riverside. We're going to see. Everybody, hold on.
This would go really awesome or horribly wrong.
Right now it's going the ladder.
It's okay. I lost my window.
Share screen. And this one. All right. Okay, so here is the rest operator in a Cold Fusion file, though none of them worked, which was sad. Especially, I read this through, and I can see he's only testing Lucy and Adobe, and I'm sure BoxLang did this because we talked about it, but it wasn't working either. So these 3 dots in front of the inputs tells the code everything after every, to the nth argument, put into an array called inputs. So you could have A, B, and then ... inputs, and that would be the first one goes in A, the second in B, and then inputs gets everything else. Spread is, here in line 12, this is using it as an array. It's saying, I have an array, and I want you to put everything in that array into this new one, plus whatever else I want to put in there. That should also work with objects where you can put or structs. Sorry, I was talking JavaScript-y.
Oh, man.
You can put all the keys from the struct into a new struct. The benefit of this is it's a little less verbose than the struct append. You don't have to, and the order is what determines if you're overriding or not. So if in the struct you had the spread operator and then you said my key is food :bar, even if your spread had foo in it, it would get overwritten. But if you did it the other way, where foo was on the top and then you spread, the spread would overwrite.
Interesting.
So that's rest and spread.
And you could check out that blog post for more info as well.
Okay. Well, it didn't blow up when we tried to share, so.
Yay. Check that one off the list.
All right. We got just a few minutes left to tell you about some events and some thank yous.
Yep, absolutely. For the events, obviously the big one that's near and dear to us is Into the Box, April 30th through May 2nd in Washington, D.C., intothebox.org. The first day is workshops, and then the conference itself is May 1st and 2nd.
Next, we have CF Camp, May 22nd and 23rd in Munich, Germany, with a special Ortus Solutions workshop before on the 21st. You can find out more at cfcamp.org. And again, at the link earlier for our Ortus workshops.
Yep. And then Adobe Cold Fusion Summit 2025 will be September 22nd and 23rd. That's the one that's in Vegas. Vegas, baby, where they do it every fall. If you want to get certified, you can do that either on September 21st or 24th. If you go to the website, there's more information. I don't know if they've even got a call for speakers yet on that, but
not that I've seen.
They just wrapped up CF Summit East, and now they're going to be taking care of that. So yeah, it's a really good conference too. If you can't come to ITB, then at least try to go to like CF Camp or Adobe Summit, CF Summit, which I think are the only 3 Cold Fusion conferences, right? I'm not missing anybody.
I believe you're right.
I mean, CF Summit East and West, but CF Summit.
Yeah. Those are the only ones that have like dedicated Cold Fusion tracks. We try to take Cold Fusion to Dev Nexus, right? And Into the Box is Cold Fusion Plus, right? BoxLang, Cold Fusion, and more. So
this year we took BoxLang to Dev Nexus, and
that was fun.
It was all about the BoxLang, and I got to go, and I was talking BoxLang to all these Java devs. And full disclosure, I'm not a Java dev. I mean, I know some, but I'm not. I do not identify as a Java developer. I am a future BoxLang developer. No, I'm a BoxLang developer now.
Yeah. I
read Ray's blog post.
I still don't really identify as a Java developer, but given the amount of Java code I've written for BoxLang, I probably should change that.
Yep.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end today. Into our thank you section, we love to thank our Patreon supporters. These are individuals personally supporting our open source initiatives, great toolings like CommandBox, ForgeBox, ColdBox, ContentBox, you name it. Their contributions also help fund the cloud infrastructure that we rely on at ForgeBox for package management in the CFML and BoxLang community. You can join us at patreon.com/OrtusSolutions. There's lots of fun perks and even discounts for annual memberships. Go ahead and go take a look there.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you pay for the year, you save 10%. And if you do the bronze package and up, you now get a ForgeBox Pro and CFCast subscription as a perk. All Patreon supporters have a profile badge on the Ortus community website. There is a private forum access on the community website. And you have your own private channel on the Box Team Slack. That's the Ortus Box Team Slack channel. You can come in and chat with us.
We have many lovely sponsors. You can see them all at ortussolutions.com/about-us/sponsors. As part of, again, rebranding the podcast, we're not sure how we want to call out our lovely Patreon supporters. Are we going to keep doing the adjectives each time? Are we going to keep the top supporters? Are we going to read out one person's name? We'll see. We'll probably try a few things.
Absolutely.
But for today, we're going to thank everybody that has supported us on Patreon, companies and individuals. Thank you for supporting us and this podcast.
Absolutely.
We hope you liked some of the changes, and feel free to send us your feedback. If you're interested in sponsoring that section that we have from Ortus, reach out on our Contact Us form. We'd love to talk to you and help you reach this awesome CFML and BoxLang community.
Absolutely. Again, thank you again, everybody. Have a great Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
We'll see you later.
Bye.